person and with counsel Casey Schnock. People appear by Assistant State's Attorney Josh Jones and Laura Keck. And I have just checked, and all the jurors are not back yet, so we are not ready to go. But as far as being ready to proceed with evidence, Mr. Jones, are the people ready?
People are ready.
And Ms. Schnock, is the defendant ready?
Ready, Your Honor.
Okay, then we will be ready to go as soon as all the jurors return from lunch, and we line them up and bring them back in.
Judge, for the record, or so the court's aware, just for housekeeping purposes, we have 4 witnesses for this afternoon. I would anticipate them being a little longer than this morning, but that we just have those 4 witnesses for this afternoon. Once we're done with those 4 witnesses, we don't have any more people ready for today.
Okay. Do you want me, I will explain to the jury the process of scheduling witnesses, that when you have a 2-week trial and you have numerous witnesses, you have to schedule them for certain days. Any objection to me explaining to the jury that process? So some days we may have to end a little earlier than other days, or a little bit later.
I have no objection. It's like herding cats, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Schnock, any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. At the end of the day, then, if we get done, if we get finished early, then the court will kind of explain that to the jurors before the court excuses the jurors for the evening. And unless there's anything else, we will be in recess. We are back on the record in open court. The jury is ready to come in. Mr. Jones, anything before the jury comes in?
Witnesses back there. Yes. Yes, Your Honor. Nothing else, Your Honor. People are ready.
All right. Ms. Schnock.
Ready.
All right. Let's bring in the jury. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. We are continuing with the people's case in chief, and they will present additional evidence today. Mr. Jones, you have a witness?
I do. Your Honor, the people would call Mr. Taylor Hyman.
Sir, if you'll step up to the front of the courtroom. And if you will raise your right hand and then be sworn by the clerk.
You do solemnly swear that the testimony may give in a cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. All right, and if you come around here and have a seat right here in this chair, and then kind of scoot up to the table to where you're comfortable. Bend that microphone up so it's in front of you, and then please speak towards the microphone. You may inquire, Mr. Jones.
Can you tell me your name?
Taylor Hyman.
How do you spell your last name?
H-E-I-M-A-N-N.
Mr. Hyman, where do you live currently?
2510 Kentucky Road.
Do you have a neighbor directly to the east?
Yes.
And who lived in that residence?
Becky Bliefnick.
I'm sorry, you say Becky Bliefnick?
Yeah.
How long have you lived at your current house?
A little over 2 years now.
Who do you live there with?
My wife, who is also named Taylor Hyman.
Your wife's name Taylor Hyman too?
Yeah.
That's kind of confusing.
Very confusing.
If I could approach it.
You may.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as People's Exhibit number 9. And I'm going to ask you, do you recognize that?
Yes.
Can you tell me what that is?
The picture over satellite image of my house and Becky's house.
Your Honor, I'd ask that People's Exhibit 9 be admitted into evidence and published to the jury.
Any objection, Ms. Schnock?
No, Your Honor.
Court will admit Exhibit 9 into evidence, and it may be published to the jury.
And for the record, we have people exhibit number 9 on the screen now. Mr. Hyman, there are 2 houses on this picture. Which one is your house?
The one on the left.
And there's a driveway that's headed north and south on that. Is that your driveway?
Correct.
Do you have any type of cameras or video recording on your house?
We do.
Can you tell me about that?
They're located near the truck there, probably right at that corner there, pointed towards the road, towards up the driveway to the road. Yeah.
Tell you what, I got a little laser pointer here. Can you point that laser pointer where your camera is?
Right there.
I want to talk to you now about February 14th, 2023. Did you have those cameras on your house at that location on February 14th, 2023?
Yes.
Tell me about how those cameras work. Do they go to a computer? Do they go to a phone? How do those videos work?
So they detect motion. Once they detect motion, they will notify my wife and I's phones to where we can see the video.
And if they detect motion, do they record at that point?
Yes, they record we have it set at 7 seconds.
So they don't record all night or all day. They record for a specific time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, I got to say.
Just yes, they do. If they detect motion, they go.
You also told us that they have a sensitivity setting.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
So if we put all this, I believe it goes from a 12 to 0 on sensitivity. If you put it up to 12, it'll catch stuff on the road, people driving by and stuff like that. We had it set at a 7, I believe. So then it doesn't detect the people on the road, just to save battery life and stuff like that.
On February 14th, 2023, did you get an alert on your phone that there was motion in your driveway?
Yes.
And did you view that video?
Yes.
When you viewed that video, did you see a person walking in your driveway?
Yes, I did.
Did you know who that person was?
No.
I want to be fair. Can you tell anything about that person on the video? Can you tell how tall they are?
No.
Can you tell what race they are?
No.
Can you tell if they're a man or a woman?
No.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked as People Exhibit 10. Can you tell me what that is?
That is a screenshot of my phone whenever the recording took place. Has a date and time on it. See that there's also my wife's car in the driveway there.
Now, on that date and time, is that the date and time that the video is recorded?
Yes.
And there are actually multiple dates and times on there, is that right?
Correct.
So you had to highlight one on your phone to play that particular video.
Yes.
And the video in People's Exhibit 11 that I'm showing you, that's from February 14th, 2023, at what time?
12:37.
Your Honor, I'd ask that People's Exhibit number 10 be introduced into evidence and published to the jury.
Just a second. Any objection, Ms. Schnott?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Exhibit 10 will be admitted, and you may publish that.
So the video we're talking about is this video here, 12/14/23 at 12:37.
That's
right?
2:14. Yes.
Oh,
I believe you said 12 on accident, but yeah.
I did. You're right. 2/14/23 at 12:37 a.m. And again, for the record, I'm handing you People's Exhibit 11. Is that video?
Yes.
The video is working correctly?
Yes.
The time and date on the video is correct?
Yes.
And you know that because of other times that you've watched the video and recognize that the time is correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, we'd ask that People's Exhibit 11, the video from 2/14/23 at 12:37 a.m. be published to the jury.
The video be admitted and published.
Sorry, admitted and published.
Ms. Schnock, any objection?
No.
11 will be admitted and published to the jury.
Now I want to move forward then February 22nd, 2023. On February 22nd, 2023, did you also get two alerts on your phone about motion in your driveway?
Yes.
And did you watch both those videos as well?
Yes.
And on both those videos, what did you observe?
A person coming down our driveway and then a person going back up the driveway, similar to that video right there.
The first video was on February 22nd, 2023 at 1:05 a.m. Is that right?
Correct.
And the second video was February 22nd at 1:53 a.m. Is that right?
Yes.
Now, in between, there was another video at 1:48. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell me about that video? Did you view it as well?
Yes, and there was a possum or raccoon going up and down the driveway as well.
You don't see any person on that video.
No, I did not.
And that same day at 2:17 a.m., there was another video on your phone as well. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell me about that video?
Yes, my dog woke me up and had to go to the bathroom probably, so I took her out. And we saw the videos, so I went out there, checked the garage, assumed someone was checking the garage looking for cars, like always happens in Quincy, but so I checked, nothing seemed to be out of place, taken or out of place, so.
Your Honor, if I could approach the witness.
You may.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 12 and People's 14. Are those screenshots like what we just saw, People's 10,
Yes, sir.
and shows the dates and times of those particular videos?
Yep.
And I'm going to hand you People's 13 and 15. And are those the CDs of the videos that we just saw in these screenshots?
Yep.
Your Honor, I'd ask that People's Exhibits 12, 13, 14, and 15 be admitted into evidence and would ask leave of court to publish them to the jury.
Any objection to People's Exhibit number 12?
No.
Any objection to People's Exhibit number 13?
No.
Any objection to People's Exhibit number 14?
No.
Objection to People's Exhibit number 15?
No.
They will all be admitted, and you may publish them to the jury.
Now on the screen is People's Exhibit 12, and Mr. Hyman, we're looking at a video. It says Wednesday, but that was Wednesday the 22nd at 1:05 a.m. Is that right?
Yes.
And People's Exhibit 13. And the next video, this is People's Exhibit 14 on the screen right now. We're looking at a video from Wednesday at 1:53 a.m. Is that right?
Yes.
Your Honor, if I could approach the witness one more time.
You may.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 16. Do you recognize that, sir?
Yes.
Can you tell me what that is?
That is the camera angle during the daytime where it faces Becky's house.
So it shows what the camera sees when it's not in the middle of the night.
Correct.
Your Honor, I'd ask that People's Exhibit 16 be admitted into evidence and published to the jury.
Any objection, Mr. Schneider? Mrs. Schneider?
No, Your Honor.
People's Exhibit number 16 will be admitted.
And again, as you've described for us, this is what that camera shows during the daytime.
Correct.
Can you tell me, when we talk about the sensitivity issue of the camera, the sensitivity of the camera is set, you said it's 7 out of 12?
Yes.
So does it record all the way to Becky's house if there's movement by her house?
No, I believe it would reach out to around that rock area, that big rock, yeah.
Right there? And anything beyond that, the camera's set up to ignore?
Correct.
If I could retrieve those exhibits.
Here's the
Mr. Hyman, we've heard talk about a prowler in that neighborhood. When we talk about the prowler in the neighborhood, is that what we're talking about, that person on the video?
Correct.
Was there any issues with the prowler in the neighborhood before February 14th?
No.
And since Becky was found murdered, have there been any random prowlers in the neighborhood since?
No.
February 22nd, the morning of the 23rd, early morning hours, did you hear anything?
No, I did not.
Did you see anything unusual?
No.
Thank you, that's all the questions I have.
Cross, Ms. Schnock?
Mr. Hyman, I'm going to ask you some questions, okay? If you do not hear me or if you do not understand my question, will you let me know?
I will.
Thank you. How long have you had these security cameras up at your house?
For about a year and a half.
Okay, and what was the reason for having them installed?
We had someone break into my wife's car.
Okay, and was that break-in reported to police?
No.
Okay. And with respect to so there have been, and did that happen at your house?
Yes, that happened a year and a half ago.
Okay,
yeah.
so there have been break-ins at your house prior to February 14th?
Just that one, yes.
Okay. And with respect to the recording on February 14th of 2023, did you do anything with that video as far as sharing it publicly is concerned?
Not until the cops had found Becky's body.
Okay. Did your wife perhaps share that video publicly with anybody, if you know?
No.
Okay. Did you make any social media reposts that the same guy was back breaking into one of your cars?
Yes.
Okay, and when did you make that post?
I did not, but
Okay.
that was my wife.
And
My wife has.
Okay, and
did
that
that
was in
post.
relation to the February 14th, 2023 video?
Yes.
Okay,
She made that post, yes.
okay. And did I understand your testimony correctly, Mr. Hyman, that you actually went outside on February 22nd in the evening and early morning hours of the 23rd?
Yes.
Okay, and what time did you go outside?
Approximately 25 minutes after the person left.
And what date was that?
The 22nd.
Okay,
The morning of the 22nd, yes.
okay, and when you went outside, did you see anything?
No, I did not.
And did you see anybody?
No, I did not.
And prior to going outside, did you see or hear anybody?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I saw the videos, and that's whenever I went out there, yes.
And nothing appeared out of place, is that fair?
Nothing appeared out of place.
Okay. Did you or your wife report this person that was in your driveway on February 14th?
No, we did not.
Okay. Nothing else, Your Honor.
Redirect.
No, Your Honor.
You may step down.
We'd ask that Mr. Taylor Hyman be released from his subpoena.
Any objection, Ms. Schnock?
No, but we have him under subpoena, Your Honor, so that would still stand.
Okay. You're free to go, but you are still under defendant's subpoena. Next witness, Mr. Jones or Ms. Keck?
Your Honor, the people would call Ted Johnson.
Sir, if you'll step up to the front of the courtroom. And then raise your right hand and be sworn by the clerk.
You do solemnly swear that the testimony may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do. Okay. And if you come around here and have a seat right here in this chair. Kind of scoot up to the table to where you're comfortable, and then you can bend that microphone, just make sure it's in front of you and speak towards the microphone, please. You may inquire.
Thank you, Judge. Can you tell us your name, please?
Ted Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, did you know Becky Bliefnick?
Yes.
Tell us how you knew her.
We're in a dating type relationship, but not officially exclusively dating.
And when did that start?
We met, I would say, in probably January of 2022. Talked for a while as friends and gradually spent more time together and became romantically involved probably the summer of 23. No, sorry, 22. I apologize.
Did you know that Becky was going through a divorce?
Yes, yes, I did.
Did you have conversations about that divorce?
We did.
And what was the sense you got about the divorce that Becky was going through?
It was not pleasant by any means. A lot of difficulty and a lot of animosity on both sides, honestly.
By the time February 2023 had come along, what was Becky's attitude about the divorce?
She was actually very excited for it to be done. Looking forward, actually, like they had been postponed many times, and she was just looking forward to it being done and over.
Mr. Johnson, I want to talk to you about specifically the time period in February 2023 leading up to her death, okay?
Okay.
Did you communicate with Becky over the phone?
Yes.
Was that both phone calls and text messages?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson, I'm handing you several pages of what are marked as exhibit number 4. Can you review those and tell us what those are?
Text messages between Becky and I.
Do they also include a phone call that you had with her?
Yes.
Are those some text messages and a phone call that are from February 4th, 2023 to February 23rd, 2023?
Yes.
Your Honor, I ask that People's Exhibit 4 be admitted and published to the jury.
Ms. Knock, any objection?
No.
All right, will be admitted, may be published to the jury.
Mr. Johnson, I want to start with talking about the evening and morning of February 14th.
Okay.
On February 13th, did you spend the night with Becky at her house?
Yes, I did.
And in fact, up on the screen here, we show a message from February 13th, 2023 at 11:44 p.m. that says, from 217-430-4206. Is that your phone number?
Yes.
And that was sent to 217-316-4616, Becky's phone, correct?
Yes.
And you had texted her that you were on your way.
Yes.
As you said, then you went and spent the night with Becky that night, correct?
I did. Yes.
When you spent the night with her, how late did you stay there?
Till the next morning,
Do you know what time you left the next morning?
around 5:30 a.m., I believe.
If it said you were on your way at 11:44, about what time did you arrive at her house?
I live about 10 minutes away or so, so probably midnight-ish, somewhere around there.
I'm going to have to talk just a little bit about
I apologize. About 10 minutes from then, so midnight.
So right around midnight?
Yes.
Did you park at her house at a certain spot when you would go there?
Yes, I did.
Tell us what area of her house you would park in.
To the south of the garages in the driveway.
Mr. Johnson, we're going to put exhibit number 9 up on the screen. It's already been admitted. Do you see up here on the screen where you would park when you would stay with Becky at her house?
Yes, I do.
Can you describe where that's at?
So do you have a pointer or something?
I'll be out when we give you this.
Thank you.
Nancy,
Is it on?
it should be. There you go. You can show us where that's at.
I would park right here. This area.
Right there behind the house by the driveway.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And is that where you parked at Becky's house on the evening, February 13th till morning of February 14th?
Yes, I always parked right there.
Did you and Becky have sex that night?
Yes, we did.
After that time, when was the next time that you saw Becky?
believe I brought her some Qdoba over to her house after her surgery.
I'm going to ask
sorry.
you to bend the microphone towards you or
Sorry.
speak towards it because I did not understand that last answer, Ms. Keck. Could you please repeat your last answer?
Yes, when she got back home from her surgery, I brought Qdoba over to her house.
If we can go back to People's Exhibit number 4. This is a text that you sent to Becky on the evening of February 21st, 2023 at 7:51 p.m. It said, "Got it, on my way." Was that you bringing Qdoba back to her house?
Yes, I talked to her and she'd asked if I could pick it up for her because she wasn't able to drive yet.
When you got the Qdoba and you went to her house, how long did you stay there that evening?
Probably an hour or so, maybe a little longer.
Did you spend the night that night?
I did not, no.
Tell us, how was Becky getting around after her surgery that evening?
She was slow, but upright and moving. She was wiping down one of the tables in the living room when I got there that night. Yeah, I mean, slow but sore, but upright and moving.
When you left, what was Becky doing that evening?
I had put her to bed that evening.
You said you put her to bed.
I apologize. I helped her carry some bottles of water and some books upstairs so she could get in bed. I helped her into bed that evening, pulled her covers up over where she was going to go to sleep, and I kissed her on the forehead, and I told her to sleep well. And that's the last time I saw her,
Do you need a cup of water in bed?
if you have one. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Yep. Yeah.
The next day, did you and Becky, you said that was the last time you saw her, did you talk to her again?
Yes, I did.
Did you also text with her?
Yes, I did.
And we can go to the next slide. The next evening, you were texted Becky at 7:16 to ask her how her evening was going, correct?
Yes.
And she responded, is that right?
Yes.
And her response was, "I'm just doing laundry and paying bills and being annoyed. I can't do much of anything else. LOL."
That's correct.
And you responded to LOL and hit back.
Yes.
Then you sent another message to Becky that just said, "I just got back to my house, have a stack of bills that I need to go through myself, and all my laundry from this weekend I just threw in the wash." And that was at 7:18 p.m.
That's correct.
And she told you, "Don't wash or dry your new scrubs on high."
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, she had actually bought me a pair of new scrubs because I washed my old ones and dried them on high, and they'd shrunk and were a little small. She didn't want to mess up the new ones.
And you told her at 7:22, "LOL, I won't."
Yes.
Her next message was, "I'm free to drive tomorrow, exclamation mark. Pretty excited about that, LOL. Might not be too comfortable, but I'm allowed to do it."
That's correct.
You then responded at 7:26, "LOL, don't push it. I know you are anxious to get back to normal, but I want you to be safe."
Yes.
She then responded, "Well, I have a lot of errands to run tomorrow, and my non-independently wealthy self doesn't allow a chauffeur, and I don't like to ask for help, as I'm sure you already know. It took me all I had to ask you to pick up food." This is where I went, "Winky face, I'll make it work." And that was at 7:30, is that right?
That's correct.
You responded, "Yes, I understand. BC, I'm the same way, because I'm the same way."
Correct.
At 7:32, she then tells you, "Also took a lot for me to even let you come over here and see me in my gross post-op glory. That's why I took a Valium, so I wouldn't be bothered about it."
That's
I was referring to that before.
that's correct. Yes.
And you just told her, "Ah," at 7:37.
That's correct.
And also, you didn't look bad at all.
Correct.
I was expecting much worse.
Correct.
At 9:18, Becky sends you another text getting all of your stuff done.
That's correct.
After that, then you called her at 9:47 and you guys talked for a little over 26 minutes. Is that right?
That's correct.
Tell us what you talked about during that phone call.
How she was feeling after the surgery. She was excited that she was going to get to pick up her boys the next day. She had told me that she was excited to drive, that she had done laundry, she was feeling sore but okay, that she wasn't going to take any of her pain medicine that night because she wanted to be able to drive the next day to get her boys.
In that phone call, was that the last time you got to speak with Becky?
It was.
The next morning, did you text her again?
I did.
Was that at 6:41 in the morning?
It was.
Did you tell her good morning?
Yes.
And again, not knowing that she was dead, did you then text her again when she didn't respond?
I did.
And that was at 8:13 in the morning, and you said, "I hope you slept well last night."
Yes.
At that point, you had texted her 2 different times that morning. Did she normally respond to your text?
She did, yes.
And were you thinking it was weird she hadn't responded?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was odd that she hadn't responded by that time, but I also knew she had a lot of stuff going on, so
So then did you send her another message a couple of hours later?
I did. I hadn't heard from her. It was noon, and I still hadn't heard from her, and I thought that was odd. So I was kind of being playful and texted her Marco
You said, "Marco, hoping she'd respond."
on Polo.
right?
Yes,
That was at 12:39 p.m.
that's correct.
Later that evening, did you receive a Facebook message?
I did.
Who did you receive that from?
Becky's sister, Sarah.
Based on that message, did you talk to Sarah on the phone?
I did. Sarah messaged me and said that this is Becky's sister, Sarah. There's been an emergency. Can you call me? And she listed her phone number, and I immediately called her back.
At that time, what did Sarah tell you?
She told me that Becky had been found dead in her home. They didn't really know a whole lot else, but that one of the Quincy detectives would be notifying or be contacting me.
Did one of the detectives in fact contact you that night of February 23rd?
Yes, shortly after that, Detective Eddie contacted me from the Quincy Police Department.
When he contacted you, did you meet with him?
I did, yes.
Was that here at the Quincy Police Department?
It was, yes.
When you met with Detective Eddie, did he ask you several questions?
Yes,
And by several, I mean, did you meet with him for multiple hours?
yes, close to 4, I believe.
Did you answer all of his questions?
Yes, I did.
Did he also ask you during that meeting if they could take a picture of your shoe?
They did, yes.
And you allowed that?
Yes, ma'am.
Did they also take a picture of your shoe with a scale next to it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did they also ask you to submit to gunshot residue testing?
Yes,
Did you agree to do that?
I did.
Did they ask you to have a DNA bubble swab done inside your shoe?
Yes, they did.
And did you agree to that?
Yes, I did.
Did they ask you about looking at your phone?
Yes, they did.
And did you let them look at your phone?
I did.
And did you tell them you were concerned because you believed you had accidentally deleted some of your messages with Becky?
I did, yes.
Did they, in all their police wisdom, say you know how to still get those messages and they were able to retrieve all of the messages?
Yes, they were.
And many of those messages are the ones we just looked at?
Yes, ma'am.
Did they also ask you if you owned any firearms?
They did.
Did you tell them about any firearms you owned?
Yes, I did.
And specifically, do you own a handgun?
I do.
What caliber is that handgun?
It's a .40 caliber Smith & Wesson.
Do you currently own a 9mm handgun?
I do not.
Have you ever owned a 9mm?
I have.
When was that?
More than over 2 years ago.
What happened to that 9mm handgun?
My ex-wife was awarded it in our divorce.
And you gave it to her after it was awarded to her?
Yes, ma'am.
And so the last time you saw it was after she was awarded the gun?
That's correct.
In your time that you saw Becky and went to her house, did you ever know Becky to own a firearm?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever see a firearm in her house?
No, I did not.
You
Yes, I do.
Did you ever see any type of firearm or gun safe in Becky's house?
No, I did not.
Mr. Johnson, I want to go back to talking about where you parked on February 13th, okay?
Okay.
February 14th. Mr. Johnson, I'm going to show you what we marked as exhibit number 5. Can you tell us what that is?
It's a picture of my truck.
Is that the same truck that you were driving in February 2023?
Yes.
Is that the same truck that you parked at Becky's house the evening and morning of February 13th to February 14th?
Yes.
Your Honor, I ask that People's Exhibit number 5 be admitted and published for the jury.
Any objection, Ms. Schnapper?
No.
People's number 5 will be admitted, and you may publish it.
In February of 2023, did you have Missouri license plates at that time?
Yes, I did.
You previously lived in Missouri.
Yes, I did.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked as People's Exhibit number 6. Is that a picture of the license plates that you had in your truck February 13th to February 14th, 2023?
Yes.
Your Honor, I ask that People's Exhibit number 6 be admitted and published.
Any objection, Ms. Schnapper?
No.
Will be admitted and published.
And the license plate number on that is Missouri license plate 8DCJ55. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Mr. Johnson, I'm also going to hand you what's been marked People's Exhibit number 7. Can you tell us what that is, please?
It's the VIN number on the dash of my truck.
And that VIN number, that picture is actually taken from the outside of the truck looking in, correct?
That's correct.
Your Honor, I ask that People's Exhibit number 7 be admitted and published for the jury.
Any objection, Ms. Schnapper?
No.
Will be admitted and published.
And there's a glare, obviously, from the picture, but you can see the VIN number right there through the window of your truck looking into that dashboard. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that 16-digit VIN number is specifically assigned to that truck.
That's correct.
Finally, I'm going to hand you what's been marked as People's Exhibit number 8. Can you tell us what that is, please?
It's the manufacturer information from the driver's side door of my truck.
Your Honor, I ask that People's Exhibit number 8 be admitted and published for the jury.
Any objection, Ms. Schnapper?
No.
Will be admitted.
And that information correlates with the VIN number that you can see from the outside of the truck looking in. Is that right?
That's correct.
And for the record, the VIN number of your truck is 5TFA-Y5F1XMX984278. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right, I have no other questions for Mr. Johnson. Thank you.
Cross, Ms. Schnapper.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, if you can't hear me or if you don't otherwise understand my question, will you let me know?
Yes.
Thank you. Sometimes attorneys ask bad questions. Am I understanding the characterization of your relationship with Becky as a non-exclusive sexual relationship?
We were not exclusively dating, no.
Okay, so were you seeing other people in February of 2023?
Talking to.
Okay.
But, I mean,
Sure.
we're not exclusively dating, but I wasn't exclusively seeing anyone else either, no.
Okay. Were you sexually active with anybody else in February of 2023?
No, ma'am.
Okay. As far as the week of February 23rd is concerned, you knew that Becky was having surgery earlier in that week, correct?
I did, yes.
And there weren't a lot of people that knew that she was having surgery that week, correct?
Not that I know of. I don't know, ma'am.
Okay. Did you know where she was having surgery?
St. Louis.
Okay. And did you know if she had arrangements for her kids that week?
She had told me her kids were staying with Tim Wednesday night because she was not released yet.
Okay, and normally the children would stay with Becky on Wednesdays, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and she made this arrangement with Tim, and there was, as far as you know, there were no issues making that change to their parenting time schedule, is that fair?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay, and so Tim didn't even know that she was having surgery that week, correct?
That will be sustained.
I don't know.
And you knew that she didn't have her kids at home that week, correct?
Wait.
I
just
apologize.
wait. That's okay. The jury will, or the record will, I have that last answer stricken, and the jury should disregard that last answer. Now you may proceed, Ms. Schneider.
Thank you, Judge. You knew that she didn't have the boys home that week, correct? At least Monday and Tuesday? And
She was
Wednesday.
not home on Monday. Her surgery was Monday.
Right, and so she didn't have her boys earlier that week, correct?
Yes, she was in St. Louis,
Okay, and then she didn't have the boys Wednesday, correct?
to my knowledge.
Okay. And you also knew that she had been taking Valium after her surgery, correct?
I did not know if that was what was prescribed to her, no.
Okay, even though she said it to you in one of the text messages that you just talked to us about?
She did state she took one, yes.
Okay, so you knew that she was taking controlled substances?
At that time, yes.
Okay, and also at this time, you were holding over $13,000 of her cash in your gun safe, were you not?
I'm not aware of what was in the bag, ma'am.
Okay, did you ever see the contents of that bag?
Only when Detective Eddie pulled it out of my safe and unzipped it.
And
But
there was several thousands of dollars in cash in that bag, was there not?
I don't know how much was in it, ma'am.
There was cash in that bag, correct?
I saw that there was cash in the bag.
And that bag had her name on it, correct?
I do not know if it had her name on it.
Did the bag have any identifying characteristics on it that it belonged to Becky?
It was blue.
How long had you been holding on to that bag for her?
Month or two?
Did you have a code or a key to get into Becky's house?
No, I did not.
When you would go to Becky's house, how would you get into her house?
Usually the sliding door to the east, but it had been broken for the past couple months, didn't open or something.
Okay.
So the garage door was open.
Okay.
The door through the garage.
Okay. As far as the day, well, you mentioned that there was animosity on both sides of the divorce with respect to Tim and Becky, correct?
Yes.
And other than the divorce, Becky didn't disclose any other problems or fears that she was dealing with recently, correct?
No.
As far as February 23rd is concerned, did you go to work that day?
I did, yes.
And what time did you go to work that day?
7 a.m.
And what time did you leave work that day?
After 4 sometime.
Okay, and what
Probably
did
between
you do?
4 and 5.
What did you do after you left work?
I went to my parents' house, I believe, and fed horses. We have livestock.
Okay. Did you make any trips to Kirksville, Missouri that day?
On the 23rd? I don't know. I mean, it's possible. I don't know off the top of my head, sorry.
So you don't know?
On the 23rd? I
Yes.
don't believe I went to Kirksville on the 23rd, no.
Okay, did you go to Kirksville on the 22nd?
Honestly, I don't remember.
When did you
I did
go to-
recently go to Kirksville to
Okay.
meet with the guardian ad litem for my children, yes.
Okay, and that's what I was going to ask you.
Okay, sorry.
Sometime around the time Becky was murdered, you were traveling to Kirksville to meet with your divorce attorney, correct?
I believe it was the guardian ad litem,
Oh,
but
I apologize. And was that to deal with the issues that you and your ex-wife were dealing with?
yes, we were in a change of custody.
Okay, and had that been going on for some time?
About a year, yes.
Okay. Do you know, after you said that you went to your parents' house and you took care of some of their horses, correct?
Theirs and mine, yes.
Okay. And did you meet with anybody else or speak with anybody else that evening?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Well, I talked to my dad. He was at the house.
Okay. The day before Becky passed, which would have been Wednesday, You did not go to Becky's house at all that Wednesday, correct? That would have been the 22nd?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. Did you meet with any friends or family members that evening?
On the 22nd? Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you have a friend named Heather come over to your house?
Coworker, yes.
Okay. And was your friend Heather there from about 6 to 7:30?
Approximately, yeah.
Okay. And then later that night, would you have made a phone call to Becky?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And then do you know the night that she would have been murdered, which would have been Wednesday night going into Thursday, did you ever leave your home Wednesday evening going into Thursday morning?
I don't recall.
Okay.
No.
Is there anybody that stayed at your house that night?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Were you aware of any security system that Becky had at her house?
I know there was a security camera in the garage by the door.
Okay.
I had seen it when I'd come in through there.
Okay. Is that the only camera that you're aware of her having?
Yes, that's correct.
And you said that in one of the last conversations that you had with Becky, she was really excited to be able to pick up her kids from school the next day, which would have been Thursday, correct?
That's correct.
And she mentioned that she didn't want to take her medication because she wanted to be able to drive to go pick up the boys, correct?
That's correct.
No other questions, Judge?
Redirect.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor.
You may step down.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, we'd ask that Mr. Johnson be released from his subpoena.
All right, any objection by the defense?
No, but we have him under subpoena as well,
Okay.
Your Honor.
All right. You're released from the people's subpoena. You're still under subpoena by the defendant, all right? Okay, thank you. Call your next witness.
People would call Matt Hermsmeyer.
Okay, while we're waiting for Officer Hermsmeyer, you may all stand up and stretch for a minute, all right?
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait right there, Mr. Officer. Ready? All right. Wait just a second, we're stretching. All right?
You're too quick.
Okay, please be seated. Come around here and have a seat in this chair. You may inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you tell me your name, please?
Matt Hermsmeyer.
And Mr. Hermsmeyer, what do you do for a living?
I'm a Quincy police officer,
Officer Hermsmeyer, how long have you done it?
25 years.
What is your current role with Quincy Police Department?
Patrol officer.
What does that mean? What's the patrol officer?
Take calls for service from the general public.
I want to talk to you then about February 23rd, 2023. On February 23rd, 2023, around 3:30, 3:45 p.m., did you receive a dispatch or a call for service?
I did.
And what was the nature of that dispatch? What was the call that you were going to?
Assisting the ambulance with a death investigation.
What was the location of that?
2528 Kentucky Road.
According to the dispatch note that you had, what were you told about the nature of this death investigation?
That a family member found another family member deceased, and our dispatch tickets are somewhat difficult to read sometimes, but I did see possible suicide.
When did you arrive at 2528 Kentucky Road?
Approximately 3:33 p.m.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 18. I'm going to ask you if you recognize that officer.
I do.
Can you tell me what that is?
This is the house located at 2528 Kentucky Road.
Does it show the house as you observed it on February 23rd?
Appears to be, yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask that People's Exhibit, give me the exhibit.
18.
18?
18 be introduced into evidence and published.
Any objection, Ms. Schneider?
No.
It will be admitted and may be published.
Officer Herbsmeyer, is that a one-story house, two-story house when you walked in? What did you see?
Two-story house.
So there's a ground floor and upstairs. Is there also a basement?
I don't know. I was primarily on the second floor.
Did you go, in fact, to the second floor?
I did.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 17 and ask you to describe what we're looking at here.
This is a diagram of the second floor to 2528 Kentucky Road.
And I understand it's not to scale, but apart from not being to scale, does that appear to be an accurate diagram of at least the area of investigation?
It does.
Your Honor, we ask that People's Exhibit 17 be introduced into evidence.
Any objection, Ms. Schneider?
No.
It'll be admitted, may be published.
Now, Officer Herbsmeyer, when you went inside, you went up the stairs that are on top of this diagram, is that right?
Yes.
And then where did you go?
We walked down the hallway to the opening door of the bedroom, which is located on the west side of this house.
So you went up these stairs and then went down this hallway, is that right?
Yes,
And then you turned to your left and looked in that bedroom.
that's correct.
When you looked into that bedroom, at that point you had been told that it was a possible suicide.
Yes.
When you looked into that bedroom, did you notice anything that made you believe that this was not a possible suicide?
Yeah, I did.
Tell me what you noticed.
There were several, approximately 6 to 7 spent shell casings on the ground, on the floor, in the bedroom.
And why would that mean to you that that might not be a suicide, officer?
Suicides are typically a one shot.
When you walked a little bit closer to that door, to that bedroom, did you notice anything about the door that concerned you or troubled you?
There's damage to the door and pieces of the wooden frame on the ground.
Did it appear the door had been broken into, kicked in, pushed in?
Yes.
I'm going to hand you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 37, 45, and 47.
Excuse me, Mr. Jones, give me those again.
37, 45, and 47.
Okay, thank you.
Do you recognize those photos?
I do.
Can you tell me, start with 35,
37?
37?
Yeah.
Give it to you, I don't have any more. 37, can you tell me what that is?
This is the door leading into the bedroom.
And when you look at that photograph, tell me what you noticed about what you observed, not only in that photograph, but when you first got on the scene.
There was damaged wood casing from the door on the ground, in addition to spent shell casings.
Multiple spent shell casings?
Yes.
Your Honor, we ask that People's 37 be introduced into evidence and published to the jury.
Any objection, Ms. Schneider?
No.
37 will be admitted and may be published.
When you talk about the damage to the door, are you talking about the wood pieces that are seen where the laser pointer is pointed?
Yes.
And you also talked about spent shell casings. Are you talking about the shell casings that are here in the middle of the floor?
Yes, I am.
People's 45, if you could look at it, and again, tell me what you're looking at there.
This is a closer-up picture of the previous picture with the damaged wood and spent shell casings on the ground.
Different angle.
Yes.
Your Honor, we ask that People's
5.
be introduced into evidence and published.
Any objection?
No.
45 will be admitted and may be published.
This view is basically head on to that door frame, is that right?
That's correct.
And you see the door frame basically shattered, is that fair to say?
Yes, it is.
And the pieces of the door frame here on the ground?
Yes.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shell casings in that general area.
Yes.
Can you look at People's 47? Tell me what you're looking at there.
This is if you were standing inside the bedroom, taking a picture of the door with the damage on the ground, and then there's a door to the right side of this picture that's the opening to the bathroom.
And when you looked into that bathroom door, did you notice anything?
I did.
What did you notice?
A white female laying on her back on the floor.
Your Honor, we'd ask that People's 47 be introduced in that.
Any objection?
No.
It will be admitted and may be published.
And again, Officer Hermsmeyer, the broken pieces of wood here that we're talking about,
Yes.
and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shell casings in that. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shell casings in that general area. Is that right?
That's correct.
And is there a piece of the broken door also underneath the door there?
Yes, that's part of the doorknob mechanism.
Did you also look behind that door?
I did.
When you looked behind that door that I'm pointing to with the laser pointer, did you notice anything?
Yes, there's a cell phone behind the door on the ground.
Can I hand you what's been marked as People's 48? Is that a photograph of that cell phone behind the door?
It is.
Your Honor, we'd ask that People's 48 be admitted and again leave a court to publish to the jury.
Any objection is not.
No.
48 will be admitted and may be published.
Is this the cell phone that you're referring to?
Yes, it is.
Appears to have been dropped as the door was violently shoved open. Fair to say?
Yes.
I want to talk to you about a different area of the house. Could you go back to People 17, please, Ms. Brown? Were you also in this east bedroom area where the camera is pointed?
I was.
When you were in that area, did you notice a bedroom window?
I did.
And did you notice anything about that particular bedroom window?
It was cranked open and the glass was broken.
I'm going to hand you People's Exhibit 26, 27, 28. People's 26, People's 27, and People's 28. I'm going to ask you if you recognize that.
I do.
What is that?
This is the east bedroom on the diagram.
And when you looked at that window, you told us that the window appeared to be broken, glass was broken in it.
Yes.
And did those photographs accurately show what you observed in that east bedroom?
They do.
Your Honor, I'd ask that People's 26, 27, and 28 be introduced into evidence, admitted into evidence, and leave to publish to the jury.
Any objection is not.
No.
26, 27, and 28 will be admitted and may be published.
For the record, we're now looking at People's Exhibit 26. Is this the window that we're referring to?
It is.
Did you also notice something on the ground where the laser pointer is now pointing?
There appeared to be a partial foot impression made by either a shoe or a boot.
Moving on then to People's 27. People's 27. Is this a close-up of that broken window?
It is.
And do we see some damage in this bottom area?
Yes,
And also you told us the glass was broken.
it was.
And People's 28. Is this the view of the upper portion of the window?
Yes,
And again, we see some damage in this upper right-hand corner of the window,
yes,
and the glass was broken.
That's correct.
I now want to move on, if you could go back to 17, please, Ms. Beck. Did you also go into that bathroom in this general area?
I did.
When you went into that bathroom, tell me in a general sense what you saw.
A deceased white female laying on her back.
I'm going to hand you what has been marked as People's Exhibits 51, 52, and 53. I'm going to ask you to look at those, and then I'll ask you some questions about those.
Okay.
If we could start with People's Exhibit 51. Could you tell me what People's Exhibit 51 shows?
This is a white female, later identified as Rebecca Bliefnick, laying on her back on the bathroom floor.
Does it accurately show what you observed when you were the first officer on scene?
It does.
Your Honor, we'd ask that People's Exhibit 51 be introduced into evidence and published to the jury.
Any objection, Ms. Schneider?
No.
51 may be admitted and can be published.
Officer, when you were on scene, did you notice several pieces of small plastic around and on her body?
I did.
When you were in that bathroom, did you look at Rebecca's genital area?
Yes.
And when you looked at that, were you able to see her underwear?
Yes.
Did you make any observations of her underwear?
There appeared to be some type of a towel underneath her underwear.
Did the underwear appear to be pulled to either side?
No.
Did the underwear appear to be torn in any way?
No.
Looking then at People's Exhibit 52, it's not been introduced yet, Mr. 52. Is that a close-up of the genital area?
Yes.
Does it show the underwear that you observed
Yes.
and the towel that you observed?
That's correct.
And then look at People's 53. Is that a close-up or a closer-up view of the same thing?
It is.
Does it accurately show what you observed on February 23rd, 2023?
It does.
Your Honor, we'd ask that People's Exhibits 52 and 53 be introduced and done.
Any objection, Ms. Schneider?
No.
We'd ask to leave to publish People's Exhibit 52 and then People's Exhibit 53.
People's Exhibits number 52 and 53 will be admitted, and then they may be published.
Now on the screen, we're looking at People's Exhibit 52. And officer, in this, where the laser pointer is pointed, is this what you're referring to as the Becky's underwear?
Yes.
And then off to the left side of the body, the right side of our screen, there appears to be a blue item, the blue towel that you're referring to.
Yes.
Now, what was under that blue towel, you have no way of knowing. Is that
I
fair to
don't.
say?
Correct. I don't know.
Moving on to People's Exhibit 53, is that a close-up of that same view?
It is.
And again, we see some small pieces of plastic on her body,
That's correct.
the victim's underwear, and that blue towel.
That's correct.
Now, officer, how are we able to see the victim's underwear when we can see that she's also wearing pants?
The pants did not appear to have a middle or a crotch area.
When you observe the pants, do they appear to be ripped or torn at all?
They did not.
In fact, are there seams on those pants to show that those pants are designed to be crotchless in a sense?
There were.
Blank screen, please, Ms. Cook. Maybe that's just one moment.
You may.
Thank you, Officer Hermsmeyer. That's all the questions I have.
Questions, Ms. Schneider?
Thank you. Officer Hermsmeyer, what time did you arrive at the Bliefnick home, if you recall?
Approximately 3:33 p.m.
All right, and when you got there, who else was at that residence at that time?
I made contact with, while I was field training a new officer that day. When we arrived, we made contact with 2 Adams County paramedics and a gentleman that was later identified as William Postal, who is Becky Bliefnick's father.
Okay. And after you arrived, was the house secured?
After I arrived, we checked the upstairs for anyone else in the house, and I stayed upstairs in a cover position while another officer came to search the rest of the house with Officer Landis, who I was training.
Okay. How long did you spend at the Kentucky Roadhouse that afternoon and evening?
Approximately 6 hours.
Okay. And what essentially did you do for those 6 hours? I mean, you told us about what happened when you got there and what you observed when you found Becky on the floor. I'm guessing that didn't take 6 hours, correct?
That's correct.
All right. So what did you do, or what was your involvement in the investigation after you found Becky?
I contacted Sergeant Elvis by phone and asked him to notify our investigations unit and to send additional officers to search the house so no one else was in there.
Okay. Did you go door to door and speak with any neighbors in the Kentucky Road area on that afternoon?
I did not.
Okay. And you did not have any conversations with Tim that afternoon, correct?
I did not. That's correct.
All right. And as far as the footprint or the foot impression is concerned, do you know if you were the first person to come across that footprint?
I was.
Okay. And what was done with that footprint or foot impression, if you know?
I don't know.
Okay. Is it fair to say whoever came through that window made that impression?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation.
That will be sustained.
Did the window still have lattice in it? Did it have any lattice work or anything like that, if you recall?
I don't remember.
Okay. And do you know, was the window completely broken out, or was there still glass in the window frame?
There was still glass in there.
Okay, and was that on the inside of the window or on the outside of the window?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you know how many officers were at the Kentucky Roadhouse that evening?
If I had, guessing, a dozen.
I don't have any other questions for Officer Hermsmeyer, Your Honor.
Redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you may step down.
Do you want these left here?
I'll-
Mr. Jones.
Your Honor, we would release Officer Hermsmeyer from his subpoena.
All right. Ms. Schnock, any objection?
No.
All right. You're free to go. Counsel, step up here just for a second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a recess. It will, you'll have 20 minutes then to make sure you have time to use the facilities and get a snack or something, and we will continue with the people's case. We'll be in recess. All right? We are back on the record on 23 CF 170, People versus Timothy Bliefnick. Mr. Bliefnick is present in court along with his attorney, Ms. Casey Schnock. People appear by Assistant State's Attorney Josh Jones and Laura Keck, and we are ready to bring the jury back into the courtroom. So let's bring in the jury. All right.
Session of court is now reconvened. You may be seated.
All right, we are continuing with the evidence on the people's case in chief. And Mr. Jones, you have another witness today, or Ms. Keck?
Your Honor, the people would call Sarah Riley.
Ma'am, if you'd step up to the front of the courtroom. And then raise your right hand and be sworn by the clerk.
You do solemnly swear that the testimony you may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Okay, and now if you could come around here and have a seat right here in this chair. And then kind of scoot up to the table to where you're comfortable. And then bend that microphone down so it's in front of you and speak towards it, please. You may inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you tell us your name, please?
Sarah Riley.
Can you spell that for the court reporter, please?
Sarahreilly.
Ms. Riley, where do you live at?
The address?
You know, the city or the state.
Irvington, New York.
Ms. Riley, can you tell us, did you grow up here in Quincy?
Yes.
Do you have any siblings?
Rebecca Postal, Bliefnick.
And call her Becky, is that right?
Yes.
Was Becky older or younger than you?
Younger.
What's the age gap between the two of you?
About 16 months.
So were you pretty close growing up?
Absolutely.
And were you still pretty close up until her death?
100%.
Becky was married, is that right?
Yes.
Who was she married to?
Tim Bliefnick.
Do you see Tim Bliefnick here in court today?
Yes.
Can you point him out by where he's sitting and what he's wearing?
The yellow tie, white shirt.
Your Honor, the record could reflect that Ms. Riley has identified the defendant.
The record will reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
Ms. Riley, how did Becky meet the defendant?
They met in college. They both went to Quincy University. Tim played football there. They started dating at some point after that. Early on in their relationship, they moved to Chicago, where Tim was living at the time. They then moved to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and got married at that time and bought a house in Fort Wayne.
You said they got married. Do you know when their wedding date was?
September, 5 years after my husband and I got married, 2009, I believe.
September 2009. Do they have any children?
They have 3 boys,
Can you tell us the names of those 3 boys?
Deacon, Grayson, and Arlen.
Deacon is 12, is that right?
Correct.
Grayson is 10,
Yes,
and Arlen is now 6. He was 5 in February of this year, is that right?
correct.
You said that Tim was a football player in college. Did he continue to be athletic and into working out after they got married?
Objection, Your Honor. I don't know what information she has to lay a foundation for this testimony. I'm also not convinced that his fitness after graduating college is relevant to this matter.
Ms. Keck?
Your Honor, I didn't lay a foundation, and it is relevant due to the way that we believe the crime occurred.
The court is going to overrule the objection at this time. You may proceed.
Thank you. Ms. Riley, were you aware if Tim continued to be involved in working out after college?
Yes, he did. Fitness was a huge part of his life, and Becky's as well. They owned a CrossFit gym together. Tim was a coach at that gym. I know Becky also taught CrossFit kids classes at that gym. As far as I know, Tim has continued up until this point to be involved in fitness and CrossFit and working out. When we visited the house, he was often going to the gym to work out.
And when you said when they visited the house, was that the house that they lived at on Kentucky Road?
It was, yes, and any of their houses,
So before that as well?
correct.
When did they move to Quincy?
They moved to Quincy shortly after Deacon was born, so I'd say maybe about a year after Deacon was born, they moved back to Quincy. Yes.
Did your sister inform you that she believed that the defendant was going to be divorcing her at some point in 2020?
About 7 or 8 months prior to when when Tim filed, she had spoken with me on many occasions about the impending divorce. She had requested for a long time before that even that they go to marriage counseling, that they try to amend their relationship for the sake of the kids. Her goal was that they stay together as a united family for the boys. But she knew that Tim had mentioned to her that he was planning on filing for divorce. It just took a long time for him to actually do so.
I'm going to switch gears briefly, Ms. Riley. I'm going to hand you what's been previously marked as People's Exhibit 69. Do you recognize that?
This is Becky's Facebook page.
And that Facebook page, does it have a picture that you know to be your sister?
That is Becky, yes.
That Facebook page, were you friends with her on Facebook?
I was, yes.
Were there regular posts, updates about her and the children?
Yes, she often posted about her and the boys' activities. Every so often, she would post about nursing or, a meme from time to time, but the primary focus of her Facebook page was her and the boys, yes.
Your sister was a nurse.
She was, yes.
And when she would post about the boys, would that include pictures of your nephews?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask that People's Exhibit 69 be admitted and published for the jury.
Any objection, Ms. Schnott?
No.
It will be admitted, and you may publish it. 69 is the exhibit.
And the picture that we see on that profile picture, that was the picture that Becky had on her Facebook page at the time she was killed. Is that correct?
Yes.
Ms. Riley, did your sister also have a phone number at the time that she was killed?
Yes.
And has she had that phone number since at least they moved back to Quincy in 11 years ago?
For as long as I can remember, yes.
Was that number 217-316-4616?
Yes.
Did you communicate with her with that phone number?
On a regular basis.
When you communicated with her, what type of communications did you have?
Many texts and frequent phone calls.
Was there communications that you had with her via text message in September of 2021?
Yes.
That specifically, was there messages that were sent between you on September 4th, 2021?
Yes.
And handing you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 71, can you tell us what that is?
This is a text that Becky sent to myself and my husband Brett regarding fear for her life.
And does that message talk about her mom and dad and your mom and dad?
She said that she would
No,
not.
I don't want you to read the message, does it refer to
Yes.
mom and dad?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask that People's Exhibit 71 be admitted and
Ms. Knock, any objection?
Yes.
Okay. The objection that was made pre-trial, the court has ruled on that. The court recognizes the objection but overrules the objection, and that may be admitted. Number 71 may be admitted over objection and published to the jury.
Ms. Riley, I want to read that message to you, and I want to make sure I get it right, okay? Becky says, if something ever happens to me, please make sure the number one person of interest is Tim, as that is who would do something to me. I'm putting this in writing that I'm fearful he will somehow harm me, come after me, or will try to something to me that takes away from the kids or the kids away from me. He already has lied multiple times to paint himself as a victim and me as the perpetrator when it is absolutely the other way around. No, I have not said this to Mom and Dad because I don't want them to be out of their mind with worry. Is that the message your sister sent to you?
Yes.
Ms. Riley, I want to talk to you about the day that your sister was found dead, okay? Tell us when you learned what happened today.
My family was in Florida on vacation for February break, and I was at a hair salon getting my hair cut when my mom called my phone. And because I was getting my hair cut, I let the phone go to voicemail, knowing that in about 10 minutes I would be done. Immediately thereafter, my daughter, who was not with me at the time, called me, and because of the proximity of the phone calls, I picked up, and she said, "You need to call Grandma, she's crying." And so I did. And when I called, my mom picked up right away, and all she said was, "Becky's dead. Becky's dead. We don't know anything, but Becky's dead." And she said, "I have to call you back. Dad's not here. I have to call you back." And so I immediately called Brett, and
Brett's your husband.
my husband, and he was at a client's house installing a sculpture or a painting, and right away I told him it's an emergency pickup because I left him a message, and he called me right back.
Were you aware at the time that your sister was seeing somebody?
Yes,
That was Ted Johnson.
yes.
Did you later contact Mr. Johnson?
After speaking with my mother shortly thereafter, she said, "We don't know anything." And even after she got to the house, I was reunited with my father. He did not tell her what he saw. And so in all of our conversations on the day that Becky was found, she and I were in the dark. We did not know what happened. And in the process of trying to figure out what happened to my sister, I said, I will call Ted, because they talked every day, multiple times a day, and he may know what happened to her.
Did you ever have any conversations with your sister about her having any fights with Mr. Johnson?
The only thing remotely relevant would have been a conversation that I had with her. I don't remember the time frame, but she was upset because she didn't know if he valued their relationship as much as she did at that moment in time. And neither of them had wanted to put any sort of...
Objection, Your Honor, as to what either party wanted out of this. That calls for speculation.
Sustained. You might rephrase the question and ask again, Ms. Jackson.
Fair to say, Ms. Riley, the only time we ever heard was that she thought that they thought different things about their relationship. That was their only disagreement.
Correct. And she had told me that she did not want to go public with the relationship until the divorce was finalized.
Did she ever express any fear about Mr. Johnson?
No.
She never sent you a message like what she sent on September 4th, 2021 about the defendant?
No. She told me that she loved him.
No other questions, Your Honor.
Cross, Ms. Schnock.
Thank you. Ms. Riley, am I correct in that it has been several years since the last time you saw Tim?
The last time I was in the same room as Tim was during our Christmas vacation of 2019.
And so at the time this message was sent to you, September 4th of 2021, it had been nearly 2 years since you had seen Tim in person, correct?
Yes.
And today, I can assume is the first time that you've seen him as well?
Correct.
And so you have not seen him or spoken to him since 2019, fair?
Correct.
Okay. And after Becky's passing, you had an interview with, I think, Detective Cowick, correct?
Yes.
And during your interview with Detective Cowick, he asked you, or I don't know if he asked you, but you described what type of person Becky was, correct?
I'm sure I did.
You described her as an alpha female. Does that sound correct?
Becky was strong-willed.
She was not the type of person that would be pushed around or controlled. Is that fair? It's a yes or no question, ma'am.
Like I said, Becky was strong-willed. I don't know what she would be willing to put up with in any given situation.
So she was a strong-willed alpha female. Is that how you described? That's how you described her to Detective Cowick, correct?
If that's what I said in the interview, then I will say yes.
And at the time you sent this message to Becky in 2021, you had known Tim for 15 years at that point?
Since approximately 2009, yes.
Okay. And in your interview with Detective Cowick, you indicated that you had, in the time that you knew Tim and Becky together, that you had never witnessed anything firsthand with respect to any physical altercations between Tim and Becky, correct?
I did not see a physical altercation.
Okay. And when you and Becky were talking about the disagreement that they had with respect to the relationship with Ted Johnson, that was in response to Becky seeing something that he posted about a different woman, correct?
I think that Becky had seen a social media comment on another person's picture.
And that made her question what he thought their relationship was.
Yes.
And as far as you know, that was the biggest argument that they had, or at least she made you aware of. Is that fair?
I do not think that it was an argument. I think it was a discussion.
Disagreement.
Discussion.
A disagreement about the status of their relationship. Is that
Objection,
fair?
Your Honor, she's answered.
That will be sustained, asked and answered.
And when you talked to your mom on February 23rd, she didn't know anything, fair? You said it. She told you her statement was, we don't know anything, we don't know what happened.
Correct.
And that was correct, or that was true when she called you initially, and that was true when you talked to her when she was at Kentucky Road, correct?
Correct.
And you never sent this message to either your mom or your dad, correct?
Correct.
And you never forwarded this message to any of her attorneys, correct?
No, I did not.
And you did not report this message to law enforcement or anybody else for that matter. Is that fair?
I did not.
No other questions, Judge?
Redirect.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Ms. Riley, you did provide the text message to law enforcement after Becky was found dead and killed, is that right?
Between my husband and I's phone, that message was provided to police.
Other questions, Your Honor?
You may step down. And then,
Your Honor, we would release Ms. Riley from her subpoena.
all right, and any objection, Ms. Schnock?
No, Your Honor.
All right. You're released from your subpoena. You may stay or go as you please, and then,
Your Honor, I apologize. I did not anticipate things getting done so quickly. We are out of witnesses for today.
ladies and gentlemen of the jury, when you have a trial that lasts several days, and you saw the list of potential witnesses, and you know you have a lot of witnesses, the way it works is that we schedule witnesses, guess how long they're going to take, and schedule those witnesses so we don't have 50 people waiting to testify. And so today, things went quicker than we expected. However, we always try to make sure that we get done by 4:30 every day, so they did go quicker than expected. But as I told you at the start, we always try and get done by 4:30, and it's more likely we would end sooner in a day than we would go past 4:30. Today we have ran out of witnesses, so we are going to recess for the rest of the day. I have an admonishment that I'm going to read to you. You'll be able to go home and go about your normal life, and I'll ask you again to be back in the jury room at 8:45 tomorrow. We'll try and start at 9 o'clock every morning. And this admonishment goes, we will now recess for the evening. You may go about your normal affairs, but you must not discuss this case with anyone, including family members, friends, or your fellow jurors. As I told you at the beginning of the case, your job as jurors is extremely important. Your decision on your verdict is to be based only upon the evidence that you see and hear in the courtroom and the instructions of law that I will give you. Therefore, to remain fair and impartial, you must refrain from doing the following things until you are discharged from service on this case. You must not converse with any person on any subject connected with this case. You must not read or listen to any outside comments or news accounts of this case. You must not discuss among yourselves any subject connected with the trial or form any opinion on this cause until you start your deliberation on the verdict. You must not view or go to the place where the offense was allegedly committed. If you hear or observe anything about this case outside this courtroom, whether inadvertently or otherwise, you must immediately inform me at the beginning of our next session. Do not discuss any of these things with your fellow jurors at any time. All right, and that includes internet and social media too. This admonishment was written well before the onset of all the social media, so it applies to social media too. And so we will adjourn for today, and we will see you tomorrow morning.
All right.
All right, council will be here and ready by 8:30, so if there's anything that comes up, that we can take care of that business beforehand. And then, is there anything we need to discuss or take care of as far as you're aware, Mr. Jones?
I don't think so, Your Honor. I think we're okay.
Ms. Schnock?
I'm not aware of anything at the time.
Okay, we will be adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.